Hey guys, we're in one of my favorite sections, which is the toolbox section, where I'm gonna give you guys some of my favorite sites or some of my favorite tips, basically, on how to help you with engagement to get to your point B of getting that epic engagement, to get that amazing reach that everyone wants so much online on Facebook, which is definitely possible. So again, it's just a matter of coming up with understanding your audience, coming up with the right game plan, having the right tools, and monitoring and scaling it from there. So a couple of tools that I actually like to use. Number one, I have this great tool from Agora Plus, which is a Facebook timeline contest. Now, this is a free tool, so don't worry. A lot of these tools are actually all free. Nothing's paid for. So this is a free timeline contest, which is great at trying to help you get that epic engagement, for you to get to that reach as well. So this is definitely helpful. So again, you want to get creative with your contests, your sweepstakes, your quizzes, your photo contests. There's so much that you can really do with this, and it helps with getting that engagement. Now, of course, everything needs to be done with a grain of salt, of course. So you need to be very cautious in terms of, obviously, you don't want to have a contest going on every single day. You want to do things, you want to be able to time them accordingly and make sure that you are not actually overdoing it. So again, this is a great resource for you. Next, what I want to show you guys is this great little tool for analyzing headlines. Absolutely amazing. Okay, so this is one of my favorite tools. Now, this was primarily done for blogs, but I still find it very useful for Facebook. Now, if you're not used to using, if you're not a copywriter, you don't really know what it takes to make a great headline. Definitely, if you're in the space, if you're in the internet marketing space, you're definitely familiar with how important headlines are and the type of words that you should be using. But if you're not in the space, you don't really know too much about it in terms of power words and whatnot. So this could be really helpful for you in terms of guiding you along the way. So let's actually just take a look at here a couple of headlines. So here I actually just had a couple of headlines in here beforehand. So let's see how they actually stacked up against each other. So let me just pick one here. So there you go. So let me just analyze a headline here. Let's see what it shows us. So this is great. It's giving us a complete analysis of 71% headline score, which is great. So let's actually see what makes up that headline score. So here it's an actual delicate word of word balance, emotional, common words, power words, and uncommon words. And we can see here that it actually gives you some great little tips. So don't worry if you don't really know much here about what makes emotional headlines so powerful. You can go into the whole thing. As a copywriter, if you're not familiar, again, if you're not in the internet marketing space, you won't really know too much about this. So this will hopefully give you a little bit more guidance and insight into what it actually takes to make a great, powerful headline. And emotional things are key to any great marketing effort. And it's not about selling. This is about marketing. Marketing isn't always about selling. It's just about gaining that attention in order to gain that awareness. So again, this is very useful for you if you're not really used to it. So let's actually get back into, here's some of the common words, the uncommon words, emotional and power words. You can see here there's a lot of common words. The emotional words here is illegal, and the power word is illegal. So let's see here too, this type of headline is too generic. Again, everything they're telling you here, take it with a grain of salt. Can you make it better than 71? Yes. But remember, this was meant for blogs. This was not meant for Facebook. So again, if you have a good headline like this and you have it tied to maybe a video or a great image, then that headline could work. So again, just take it for what it is. Be able to learn from it, and definitely you want to try to go with the highest score possible, but sometimes it isn't always possible. Here it gives you some information about the length of character, the word count. Again, this is just for you guys to be able to get more accustomed to creating great headlines for your page, because if you don't have that great headline, you're not going to get that great engagement. So it's all about the headline and what you're posting in terms of image or video. Very important. The sentiment here, your headline shows a strong negative sentiment. Headline that conveys strong emotions tend to perform better. That's great. Negative sentiment is good. Negative is better than neutral. So remember, the two things that people love to do on Facebook is laugh and argue. So definitely, this is not a bad thing. Could it be improved? It could be improved a little bit, but again, you don't know what's associated with the actual post itself. Keywords, guards, belts, this is more for SEO type of things, but still you could probably use that as a hashtag if you want. And leading into that, let's actually get into hashtags. That is the next tool we're going to actually look at. So next we have a right tag. A right tag, I am a huge advocate of hashtags. I am constantly on people who don't use hashtags. So very much so, hashtags are important. They may not have as much weight as Twitter or maybe Instagram, but they are still quite relevant to Facebook. Now, the thing is, obviously, is you need to be able to be using the correct hashtag. I see a lot of people who make up hashtags. It's in all honesty, it's basically useless when you make up a hashtag. Unless it's a trending hashtag, then yes, of course. But if it's not a trending hashtag, avoid making up your own, especially ones that have a combination of 4 or 5 words. It's the worst possible type of hashtag you can possibly have. So here we have Right Tag. This is a paid tool, but you can also get a lot of free information. So the one thing I always go to first and foremost is just see what's trending and see how I can use these trending top ones, because you can actually see where they're actually trending in terms of Twitter. Are they being retweeted? Are they being seen? Is it with an image, a link? There's a lot of information you can get here for free. So again, it's all about how do you use these particular hashtags to your relevant post. Because again, you're not going to use something like Forex on your post if you're a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu page and you're not talking about, obviously, Forex. You're not talking about exchange. So that wouldn't be very, very relevant. But if you had some sort of article, again, on money or whatever it was, then Forex would definitely be relevant to it. So again, try to think about in terms of how we can use these top hashtags for something that is relevant to your post somehow. So you can also look for different hashtags as well. So let's just say if I wanted to look for BJJ, right? You would just type in BJJ and see what is relevant for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and see if it's a trending hashtag or not, and see where it is in the realm of hashtags. So here we can actually see the different hashtags for BJJ. We can see here BJJ Africa, BJJ Antics, BJJ App. You have a ton here. But again, they're not super trending. They're good, but they're not great. So what I use this, I would probably use one. Typically on a post, I would typically go anywhere between 3 to 4 very, very powerful hashtags. That's what I would typically always suggest. So I'm a big advocate of hashtags. Use this. It will definitely help you going forward as well. One of my other favorite tools is good old Bitlily. So again, I'm a huge advocate of stats. I love it. I'm all about the actual proof that is in the numbers as opposed to making assumptions about your page or your demographics. So this is very useful anytime you're making a post to on a page where you have a link associated. Make sure you put that link in Bitlily and then post that Bitlily link on Facebook. You can track your links through your stats, which is super important because it'll give you so much more information afterwards in terms of where your clicks went afterwards. And that's important to actually know. Did they go outside of Facebook? Did they share it where? Because you'll get that information in terms of sharing. So very useful for you. So Bitlily, definitely something you should be using. Next, something I definitely recommend is this great little free tool, which is called Canva. So Canva is a great little image tool for those guys who don't have any experience with Photoshop or any sort of photo software. This is extremely user friendly. It is an amazing tool. I love it. And the way I use this tool is very simply. The things I always kind of look for in terms of resources and images, I don't typically look at Facebook for images. I'll look for anything outside of Facebook. I'll go to Instagram. I'll go to Pinterest. I'll go to Tumblr. I'll go to Imgur. So I'll give you an example here of what I would do here on Pinterest. So Pinterest, I've already done it here. I've just done a quick search for BJJ humor funny, and I sorted it by likes. And here I got this great little image here of not just a great image, but I also got a great proven saying here, which was, what? It's a cheat meal. Don't judge. So a great little saying here that I can use this proven saying and use it with a different image, or I can use the image of good old Beast here and use it with another proven statement. So yes, there's meme generators out there that can do this, but sometimes I find that, making your own, like I said, it's not about reinventing the wheel. You don't want to make this difficult. You don't want to make it harder, but you still want to make it your own. So this is just one example. This is obviously it's a meme, but still you can use it in different ways that you want. So that is an example of how you can use Canva to your advantage. Next, I want to show you guys a couple of things actually within your Facebook that you can actually use to your resource as well. Now, there's two things you can actually do. Some people actually don't realize that there's a few things that you can do here, which is one, I'm actually trying to find one. Can this be one here? Okay, so there's a great little tool here in Facebook, which is called Interests, and you probably may have easily missed it at one point. So let me just find it here. Okay, so here you go, your Interests tab. So Interests is a great little thing where basically you can actually create a list of interest and you can follow like pages. Well, not really. You can follow pages without them showing up in your newsfeed. And you do this by creating a list of interests. Now, here I have a couple of here that I've built. One in particular here is one that I did for myself. So this is a list that only I can see. So this is something you can even share publicly if you want. There's people that share plenty of lists because people have a lot of, even people in the internet marketing space will have large lists, or people within the retail space will have large lists that they'll share. Basically, they'll share different posts and page through that interest list. So this is one that I created. So all of these are basically on my list. And if I wanted to add more, I could add my own, and I can also share my interests. So this is a great way to have multiple pages on an interest list where you can refer to, where it doesn't basically bombard your Facebook newsfeed. Because if you're anything like me, if you get too many posts in a day, you're going to start to unsubscribe and you don't want to see anything anymore. And eventually you just forget about that page. So this is a great way. You can just resort back to your interest list. Super easy to do. You can easily create your list by here, just adding an interest and creating a list. And here you'll have your pop-up here where you have your entertainment. And in this case, let's just say, I love to laugh, so I want to look for something funny. So here you go. So here I have a whole bunch of resources here now that I can add to my funny interest list if I want, if I'm ever looking for something funny. Right? So I don't necessarily need to subscribe to these pages, but I have them here as a resource. So this can get your mind flowing in terms of looking for great content. Okay, so that's it for interest. So next I want to show you another great little feature that possibly a lot of people don't actually know about Facebook. So let's just say you're looking through your newsfeed and you see something that's interesting, but you might not be at home, or you could be on your phone and you have no way of maybe saving this article or whatever it is that you saw on Facebook that you wanted. So there's this great little feature on Facebook which you can actually save a particular link if you want, or post. So you can save it for later. So even if you're not at your desk, or if you're not doing something at that, or if you don't have the ability to read it at that point, you can still save it for later if you want. And you can just save that link, and in order to find the actual saved links afterwards, because you can save links, videos, you can save anything basically, whatever it would allow you to save. And typically what you do is go to facebook.com/saved, and you'll have here a whole list of everything that you've actually saved over time in terms of links, videos, places, everything. So everything is all here in saved. So this is another great resource. Another great resource, which I believe I've already showed you beforehand, is the actual pages to watch. So in the beginning, when I was going through the whole definitions, I believe I showed you guys this, where you can add pages to watch. And typically with this feature, what allows you to do is actually when you go on posts, you should be able to actually get the top posts from the pages that you watch. Now, unfortunately, as you noticed, I have a lot of pages that I'm watching. So unfortunately, Facebook cannot pull the query for all of those pages. So it just eventually times out. So I do recommend that if you are going to use this feature from Facebook, that you limit the pages that you're watching to at least 2 or 3 when you're trying to run this particular query through Facebook. So that's another great little resource that you can use to help you with engagements. Also, another tip for some of you guys that do find a really great engaging post, the one thing that you might want to actually do is you can actually try to pin that post. So let's just say if I'm looking at this particular one, and usually I always sort by engagement. So this one got a really great engagement. So if I wanted to, I can actually try to pin this post if I wanted to. I can't actually do it from here though. I'd have to actually go to the page itself. So let's go to the page, and that should be easy enough. So typically if you want to pin a post, let's see if I can go as far back. Let's see how far it will make me go. Okay, so there you go. That's the video. If I wanted to, I could just easily pin to top. Once I pin it to the top, then it's the first thing that people will see. And if this was the most engaging one, then it's definitely something you want to keep at the top of the page because it's your most engaging post. So that's another tip for you guys. When you have something that's really engaging, that you put that at the top, so it's the first thing that people see whenever they come to your page. You don't have to keep it there for a long time. You can keep it there for a couple days as long as it's trending, to help you with your engagement, so in order for you to get that epic reach. So hopefully you guys found these tools interesting, and next time I'm going to actually show you a great little tool which might help you for some advertisements a little later.